What's up, fellow Sportsters? Here by the popular demand of the commenters, I'm here at our US Open location to test out the vertical bending of the Wilson Shift compared to the top other rackets on the market. Stick around and find out if this racket really shifts as much as it claims. So as you see here, I have the Wilson Shift 99, not the L, not the Pro, the standard 99. All the specs here, it's a standard 99 square inch head size, a 16 by 20 string pattern, 10.6 ounces or 300 grams unstrung. So we're gonna go ahead. As you see, I have the Baiardo Tune Pro here in front of me. It does all the things that your normal 3-in-1 diagnostic machine does, except this one also tests, among other things, vertical bending, which is what we're looking at today, and the horizontal or regular stiffness that you're used to measuring. So I'm gonna go ahead, we're gonna throw this one on the machine first as a point of reference, as a starting point, and then we're gonna work our way through other popular rackets from Wilson, Yonex, Babolat, Head, Technifiber, and seeing how they stack up compared to the Shift. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna start with the Shift. We're gonna go ahead and load it in here. Alrighty. And we can see the results right here. So we can see with the 62 RA, and you can see that it's orange there, so that's on the low end. If it's a little higher, it'll go all the way up to red. So now we're gonna go ahead and test the next racket. Next up, we have the Clash 100. And we'll see that even the Clash compared to the Shift still is stiffer on that vertical bending axis. But let's go ahead and test the next one. The next one up is going to be the Wilson Blade. Next up we have, as mentioned, the Wilson Blade 1619. So bear in mind, since none of these rackets have the strings in them, a strung spec might look a little different. But since we're just comparing apples to apples, I think it's useful to see the numbers regardless if the racket is strung or not. And for the Blade, we have an RA of 70. Next up, Wilson Pro Staff. And for the Wilson Pro Staff, we chose the Wilson Pro Staff 97. And as expected, the stiffest of the bunch so far. Tough frame, small head size. Not super surprising that it's relatively stiff. So next up, we're gonna move into some Yonex frames. So first up from Yonex, we're gonna do the Yonex V-Core 100. Probably the closest in spec to the Wilson Shift 99 from Yonex's line of rackets. Okay, and as predicted, relatively stiff because it's a little more powerful than most with an 83 RA. Next up, we're gonna give an E-Zone a whirl. Next up is probably our top seller from the Yonex line, the Yonex E-Zone 98. And as expected, with a little bit of a thinner beam, a little bit stiff, a little less stiff, down at a 73, but obviously still well stiffer than the Shift 99. Next up, we're gonna give a Percept a whirl. And of course, if we're gonna test a Percept, it's gonna be the Percept 97, endorsed by Francis Tiafoe himself. And it looks like we have another 73 RA. So as you're seeing, most of these rackets are topping up in the mid to low 70s, and the Shift is in the low 60s so far. So let's move on to some Babolat rackets and see how they do. So from the Babolat lineup, we're gonna start off with the Babolat Pure Drive, the standard one, the 300 gram, 10.6 ounce unstrung, 100 square inch. Comes up with a 75 RA, so relatively stiff. Now we're gonna move on. Endorsed by Carlos Alcaraz himself and Holgaroon, the Pure Aero 98. And not super surprising, a 77 RA, relatively tough racket, absolute spin machine. And the last, but certainly not least, I think y'all know what's coming next. So of course, we have to do the Babolat Pure Aero Rafa Origin. And what do you know, an above 80 RA there. So really stiff, really tough racket. Check out our video review of this racket as well. It is an absolute monster. Next up, we're gonna test up some head rackets. First up from head, we're gonna do the Extreme MP. Again, this is gonna be head's spin racket in that same weight class as the Shift 99. And another 80. So yep, not super surprising. Relatively powerful spin racket. Next up, another fan favorite. So next up we have the Head Speed MP Black that just came out towards the end of 2023. Let's see how it stacks up. Definitely more forgiving than the Extreme, but still stiffer than the Clash or the Shift. So that's pretty nice result there. Next up, we have the Head Radical MP. And we have another high 70s. This one's up at 77. And to round out the video, we're gonna hit up a couple rackets from Technifiber. I'm sure you can guess them before I show them, but let's take a look. So the penultimate racket for this video is gonna be the Technifiber T-Fight 305 ISO. Another relatively stiff RA up at 77. And the last racket is another Technifiber. Guess in the comments before you see it. And finally, we can't make it through a review of this without doing the Technifiber Tempo 298 EGA, endorsed by her. And here we go, 75 RA. As you can see, all the rackets turned out to be more stiff than the Shift. So as expected, the Wilson Shift 99 is in fact the most vertically flexible racket on the market, at least compared to all the top manufacturers, basic competitors. So this one was the most flexy of the bunch with a low 62 RA and went all the way up to the V400 with an 83 RA. So this definitely is a flexible racket. Got to get it out there, feel it for yourself. Just like with the Clash, it's definitely a unique feel, but that's why you got to go out there and you got to try them. We hope you enjoyed this video of testing the vertical bending of the Shift against all the other top rackets on the market currently. If you have any questions or any other great suggestions, make sure you comment down below. As you can see, we obviously read them. We love responding and we love taking your thoughts into consideration. If you want to know when the next video is dropping, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be alerted every time a new video drops. And as always, we look forward to seeing you in the next video.